It's really weird talking about Sky controversies that are, almost 4 years ago. And if you think about it now, it's nearly the 4-year anniversary of Season of Dreams. And to celebrate, we're talking about the Dreams Hat controversy. Probably the most notable controversy that Sky has ever had. It even had an article in Kotaku that I'll link in the description if you want to read it. It goes into some detail, but not all of it. It gives a short overview if you want to read it as background information, but I'll cover everything here. So, a Sky controversy it's a very simple game. Like, the Sky doesn't really have any big controversies to talk about, but when they do happen, it's a lot more exciting and rare, because you get to see this formerly wholesome community become this absolute mess of chaos and destruction. And if I'm being honest, it's really not that high stakes. Like, it's not that Sky itself is at stake, or some big, giant, complicated war. It's more like a useless spat, if I'm being honest. And this Dreams Hat controversy was a useless spat that was needlessly escalated into a slightly more important spat, we could say. So let's start. In 2021, the Season of Dreams released, and I was there. I started way before it, pretty much well versed into Sky by then, and when I looked at the spirit, specifically Dancing Performer, I really didn't think they had a big cultural origin. I just thought it was a unique Sky style, and it was not until much later, until I actually realized that the spirits in general had cultural connections. And I really should talk about that more, because over time I've realized that Season of Dreams was not the first nor the last season to have cultural influences in its cosmetics. In fact, basically every Sky season, old and new, generally has a distinct cultural theme, and this theme was East Asian. Well, there was one friend of mine who said that Dancing Performer looked Mexican because they had the sombrero and the lucha mask and the vihuela, but in general the season's cosmetics are East Asian themed. And in line, the Dancing Performer's cosmetics, specifically their hat, was a source of great controversy between Chinese and South Korean players, because both of them saw the hat as their own, and, well, what do you call it, because both of them have different names for what the hat was called. I'll just call it the Dreams hat from now on. And they're just back and forth spats, nothing big, until, that is, the Sky Wiki said that they not only designated a name for the hat, they also called the instrument a pipa, which is the Chinese version of the stringed instrument. Now, that caused a lot of shift in the Sky community and a lot of debate and discussion over cultural erasure and all that. And it was so messy and so complicated that the Sky Discord, the official Sky Discord, was actually closed. It's actually blocked. All the channels were still there, but you couldn't talk in any of them. It's like they permanently paused all the channels. And this was for a few days, I think. I don't know. I got this from a secondary source. I wasn't there when the actual muting happened. But I'm pretty sure that for a few days, everyone in the Sky server was effectively muted from ever being able to talk. And it continued escalating until Genova Chen himself, the creative CEO of that game company, said, "Oh, it's based on Chinese cosmetics, actually," and caused further outrage and division. I mean, why would he do that? Why would he even respond to that, if I'm being honest? If Genova had kept their mouth shut, perhaps it could cause slightly less controversy and chaos, but now I feel that Genova and TCC officially had chosen a side in this war. And so, it continued for a while until the Season of Dreams ended, and it fizzled out. Now, there is a conspiracy that I'm really unsure how to believe, is that Dancing Performer had never returned for a traveling spirit for nearly 2 years. And because of the spirit's controversy, some people say, they were never allowed to come back to the Sky Realms. However, I don't really think this is true, because Dancing Performer came back in 2023 or 2024. By then, it's been 2 years since the controversy had fizzled out, because after the Season of Dreams, people didn't really care about it that much, and it mostly fizzled out. The biggest long-term impact was really the Sky Wiki itself. It had to reevaluate a lot of its choices, and it kind of has a very bland description for cosmetics now, I dislike how they don't have any cultural origins, even if they're really, really obvious, for sake of, I guess, angering people. But now to say, oh, this is an apron, this is a pan, like, I feel like there could be a bit more creativity in descriptions. And I also think that Sky should do more cultural references in the seasons. Like, it's not just Dreams, of course. Basically, every season has a cultural origin of some sort, before and after. So, I really think that all of the Dreams had controversy, it was more so due to boredom than anything. Because Season of Dreams occurred in early 2021, when the lockdowns in China, South Korea, and the rest of the world were at its most prominent. And when people are bored of playing Sky, but they still love Sky, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to probably talk about Sky, or find someone to connect Sky to the real world issues or struggles, or just wreck stuff up. And that's what they did. Like, when people are bored, you can be driven to do a lot of weird and goofy and time-wasting stuff. And by God, this was time-wasting. Like, this is probably the most pointless drama in Sky history. Because, if you don't know, the other Sky controversies that exist, some of them are actually a bit more substantial, have a more prominent political message. But this is just cultural back and forthism, and that was needlessly escalated by the TGC devs. And in reality, the TGC should have just stayed silent and not commented on the official status of the Dreams had at all. And in the end, the boredom lost, I guess. People got less bored, new seasons came out, and it was eventually forgotten. Except now, because I want to record these interesting tidbits in Sky history, to be honest. It's funny to look back and see how irrelevant they really are, and just want to make sure that stuff like these don't happen again. Because in Sky, a lot of the cosmetics are based on real-world cultures, but you shouldn't use those real-world cultures as like a basis for your own talking points. You should accept that Sky has these cultural inspirations, and you should even embrace them, because they allow for a more unique understanding of Sky culture and the real world, and I think that goes a bit underappreciated in Sky. So yeah, the Dreams had controversy, that was that.